Hey, in this video, I'm going to show you two different ways that I've recently discovered how to make AI work for me so that we can make our work more efficient as commercial real estate brokers. So if you're an investor or a broker, these two ways hopefully will help you find more deals and do it in a quicker amount of time. Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Tyson. I'm a commercial real estate broker and a commercial real estate investor. Thanks for tuning in. Again, in this video, we're going to talk about two different strategies with AI that I think are super cool. Going to help you be more efficient as a broker or as an investor. And really, these two things, when we look at them, they're just going to speed up the process by which you can get things done. And so when we talk about AI, we're going to break down two different systems. One is Chat GPT, which most people have heard of. The other one is Bard. It's actually made by Google. So I don't really know what the differences are, to be honest, between Chat GPT and Bard. If you look up or if you Google what the differences are, you're going to get a ton of different answers. What I know is Google made Bard, so it's probably going to act as a better search engine and just pulling everything like Google does. I think Chat GPT has some limitations, although if you upgrade to Chat GPT 4, they're saying that you get all the data or it's open to all the information past 2021. I guess the younger version or the newest, oldest version stopped at 2021 or didn't go beyond 2020. Anyway, we're going to use both for this video because I think each one does something different. And so for the first one, we're going to start with Bard and we're going to look at rent comps. Now, this is something you do as a broker or an investor, but mainly as a broker all the time. If you're putting together proposals or if you're doing evaluation for somebody, you really want to know what the rent comps are. You want to know what the rent growth is. You're also interested in looking at average rents. So if I'm an apartment broker, I really want to know if I'm valuing a property, what are the average rents for a specific submarket? And so we're going to ask Bard to do that. So I'm going to come into Bard and I've already done this. I'm going to start off with a pretty basic question, right? Because what these search engines, and I shouldn't call them search engines, but the way that these work, the better your prompts, the better responses you're going to get. So for example, if I just ask something like, what's the rent growth in Oregon? That's pretty broad and not a very good prompt. If I get very specific, it's going to give me better information. So in this first prompt, you can see I say, what cities have the highest rent growth in Oregon right now? And that's pretty basic, but we're in 2023, we're in November, and so we're gonna see what it says. I did this earlier, but it's gonna show you. The following cities in Oregon have the highest rent growth as of November 2023. Portland 14.6, Eugene 13.5. Really, it breaks down all the main cities in Oregon and their rent growth. Now, what it doesn't tell us is over what period of time, right? Is this 2023? Is this the last 2 years? We didn't get specific on this, but again, this is just the start of what this actually can do. And so it tells you below, these numbers are based on the data from Zumper, a listing website. It's important to note these are averages and rent growth can vary significantly. All right, so we're gonna dig a little bit deeper. We wanna figure out like, what are the capabilities of this, right? Can this get deeper? Can it get more granular? And this is where this gets really cool. Okay, so the next question as we dig in, we're gonna say, what is the rent growth for Multnomah County in 2023? Multnomah County is in Portland. So this returns the answer. And by the way, it did this very quickly. So rather than show you how quick it went, I just did this ahead of time. But it says the rent growth in Multnomah County is 2023 was 14.6. Okay, so we know that above report was referencing rent growth in 2023. Then it goes on to say the median rent in Multnomah County increased from $16.40 in 2022 to $18.79 in 2023. Great information, right? If I was looking at this market and I was saying, hey, what is the rent growth year over year? This would be a great place to start. And then it gives some factors which make up the reasoning behind how that growth has been fueled. Okay, now we're going to dig a little bit deeper. We're going to ask it to break out unit mix rents based on 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to ask it to break it out with laundry and without. Okay, so boom, I jumped in here. Please give me the average rents. Here is a table of the average 1, 2, and 3 bedroom unit rents for multifamily in Portland, Oregon, with and without laundry. How cool is this? It gives us a bedroom count, 1, 2, and 3. Then it gives us the average rents based on with laundry inside or without laundry. And what's cool about this too is if you see this, you can actually export it to sheets. So if this is something you wanted to send or if this is some information that you want to give, put in a proposal, you can do that. As you can see, the average rent for a 1 bedroom is $17.23 with laundry, $14.55 without, and then it goes into 2 and 3 bedroom. These are just averages, actual rents may vary, but very good information. Again, helps you analyze a market pretty quickly. Now we're gonna break this down by 1, 2, and 3s, but we're gonna look at different cities in Portland. So we're gonna compare Portland to Beaverton to Tigard, Hillsborough, Forest Grove, Gresham, and Clackamas, all major cities around the Portland metro. And this is what it spits out. Here's a table of the average multifamily rents for 1, 2, and 3 units with and without laundry in these cities. This is incredibly cool, guys. I mean, first of all, you can use this data to put into any kind of proposal or BOV. we get that. The other reason this is so cool is because I can take this and I can then put it in a package and email it to a client. So we're always looking for ways as brokers to provide value, right? And so what better way to then get an updated report and just say, hey, by the way, I just wanted you to know, here's the average rents as of November 2023. I haven't gone into this more granularly, but I intend to. This is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of what this can do, and it's incredibly valuable. And so I encourage you to check this out. So we're gonna dig a little deeper, but before we do, it just gives you some information background. And then I said, where'd you get this data, right? Because that's important. We're not just shooting data out without blindly understanding where it came from. And so I said, hey, where'd you get this data? And it tells us. So I looked at apartment listing websites, apartments.com, Zillow, Trulia to get an average rent. I looked at rent reports. I'm not really sure what those rent reports are. Maybe they looked at multifamily Northwest. They also looked at the U.S. Census Bureau, Oregon Housing Community Services Department. It says it also looked at rents with laundry. Overall, I believe the data I have provided is accurate, reliable. It's important to verify. So if you notice, they're talking as if it's a person, right? And so the way we want to interact with this, or the way you should, is as if this was somebody typing it. Okay, it's kind of why I say please and thank you. It's just habit, but I think it does make a difference. I don't know. All right, we're gonna dig a little deeper and see what happens. Can you show me the specific units that are being marketed for rent in specific apartment buildings and where the information is listed? Okay, super specific, probably not worded correctly or well, but we're just gonna go with it. All right, sure, here's some specific units that are being marketed for rent in a specific apartment building, Portland Tired. This would work for other data too. If I wanted to write a property description for an OM, I've done that. I actually use this to write property descriptions and tailor them in a way that makes sense to be able to put them in the data. So super cool. I encourage you to check this out. Let's move on to number 2. This is probably one of the things that I'm trying to explore the most, and one of the biggest time sucks, at least in my own business. I don't have any staff right now, but having somebody to help me draft documents is a huge time suck. If we can automate drafting docs in Chat GPT, that's super interesting to me. So one of the things that I did was I spent time thinking about how can we make this an automation or a tool in Chat GPT where if I want to draft a document, then I just spit in the information and it spits out the document. Now, of course, anytime we're working with legal docs, you really want to make sure that you're either working with an attorney or you're proofing each document. You know, I'm not going to trust a full legal document that gets spit out from Chat GPT, but maybe it works for documents like an LOI, letter of intent. And so that's what we're looking at right here. And so what I did first was I basically wrote out a small description, which again was going to be the prompt that I give Chat GPT. And see, the idea is I'm going to tell Chat GPT exactly what it needs to know. And so for this example, I wrote, you are my personal transaction assistant who is trained in all things real estate document drafting. I'm going to give you a template to use, and then I will give you the missing information. You will write the document using the template and the missing information. Do you understand? Okay, so we're going to do this in real time. I'm going to plug that into Chat GPT. By the way, I put all these prompts and I save them in Word docs because it's just easier that way. And I think if you have them where you can copy and paste, and I'll show you why we're going to do this LOI, but this works really well if you keep it in a Word doc. So if I hit enter, we're going to let it spit out. So it goes, yes, I understand. Please provide me with the template and the missing information that you would like me to include in the real estate document. Perfect. Okay, so we're going to go get that template, and I've already prepared this. Okay, so here's the template. If you follow along here, you can see that I broke it out and it says template, and this is just a standard LOI. Okay, it's in Word document, but we're not going to get too fancy with it for this video, but you'll see it's a letter of intent. These are not binding, so this is a perfect document that we can use. And if you look through here, it shows you everything that we're going to do. It's got the document, and then every place where we need to add or update information. So for example, the buyer, the seller, price, property address, we're going to put that in brackets and caps, okay? Because that's going to go on a separate Word document, which we'll use each time we want to update the information. Okay, so we're going to copy all this, and then we're going to go back to Chat GPT, and we're going to give it the document. It says you've uploaded an LOI, but if you need me to fill it out, I need the information, right? And that's exactly what we want it to do. Okay, now here is the information sheet. And again, I save this in Word because I'm going to reuse this every time. Here is all the things that we need to update that are in brackets in the LOI that we just uploaded in Chat GPT. So we've got buyer, seller, date, property name, city, state. Again, this is the info that you're going to use each time you go and draft an LOI, right? You're not going to draft the whole document. And typically what we would do is either I would draft this or I would have an assistant draft it. And we're going to see if ChatGPT can do it. Okay, so I went ahead and filled this sheet out, and you'll notice that I put all the information in here just as if I was going to write it in the document itself. And so the idea is that we're going to copy this, we're going to paste it, and we're going to throw it in the LOI template. All right, so let's copy and paste that. Now we'll go back to Chat GPT, and we're going to say, okay, here's the information that we want. Now we need you to fill it out. And what's cool about this is how quickly this happens, right? And again, it's moving, probably slower than I've seen it, but the reality is when you compare the time that it takes to draft these or to have someone draft them, we're talking, maybe a couple hours usually, because people, there's other stuff going on. So it's not, you just get right to it, right? Okay, so just fill out the LOI, and then it says, hey, we need you to fill some more stuff out. If you want to customize it, let me know. So then what we're going to do is just copy and paste this back into the Word doc, and we're going to have an LOI that we can use. And if you just use your letterhead or whatever you use to make it customized and look the way you want it, it's super quick way to have an LOI drafted. So that's it, guys. Those are two strategies I'm using right now. That's just the tip of the iceberg, and I'm trying to learn more about this because I think it's incredibly valuable, and I think the people that start using this are going to get ahead of the game. It's only going to get crazier. I mean, probably going to have virtual assistants cold calling who sound like you, which is incredible. Kind of scary to think about too, where AI is going, but I think commercial real estate's always kind of lagging when it comes to innovation, and so I think if you can use some of these strategies or just get in and play around with it, then you're going to be ahead of the game. So hopefully you liked that video. Hopefully you found value, and if you like these kind of videos, let me know in the comments and I'll try to make more of them. All right, take care.